to add, because anything, because I think it's yes.
Yeah. My name is Kustra, and I would actually like more a comment from you. Don't you think that this, specifically the banks that are owned by foreign investors, it doesn't relate so much to the BPP. Don't you think that you are providing unequal opportunity to the people that are actually applying for a job at your banks, not knowing English? I mean, we know that you cannot pass the basic test in Raiffeisen Procredit or any other bank if you don't speak English. You may be the genius of the bank, but you don't speak English, you will not get a job.
Not necessarily.
Well, you don't pass the basic test if you don't speak English.
The entry test in our bank, it includes the math part, which means it is in Albanian. If the person who enters into the test would like to have the test in Albanian. The second part is English, the essay, and the other part, which is from the three parts, is Albanian. So even if you do not pass the English part, you have two other parts, which means you will be able to pass this. In the branches, believe me or not, there are many of our colleagues who do not speak English at all and who do not need to have their English on high quality. I'm really sure what am I saying, so.
Cashiers, but the branch managers, they have to do the reports and everything in English.
Not necessarily. They have their supervisors who, of course, need to know English. But, of course, the key positions, the English is required because of the official language being in the bank. However, the front office, meaning the cashiers, the loan officers, they do not need to know English. English is not the base or the most important criteria in our bank. I'm referring to some positions that are not, as I mentioned, key or main positions in the bank.
Raiffeisen, would you like to add something also?
I have a related question to Procredit, if I may.
Let's have the Raiffeisen comment on that.
Këllë shumë koment me vend, dhe me këna diskuton, sorry. Sa ma letë në është. We have also discussed this issue. Recently we started with tests in Albanian too, but our managerial positions, managerial people should know English because of two reasons. One is that currently our procedures are written in English. We have recently hired a company to translate, and it will take some time, but we hope within a year we'll have everything in Albanian. And secondly is that our managers go very often for trainings abroad or meetings in Raiffeisen International, where all network banks, 16 countries are present from throughout Europe. And in order to communicate, the only possibility is through English. So this is the mandatory requirement for our lower positions. In front office, we have lowered the criterion in the last years. Hope this answers.
Hello.
Hold on, one by one, please. Hold on. Renate will have to add something also.
Okay.
And we'll go.
I wanted to add first about the customer service. We can go back. All of the banks here have the same products. One thing that differentiates us is not us, but the banks, is the customer service. We don't have a department like previous banks have, but all the time we try to speak with employees on a daily basis, me or their manager, and tell the behavior and attitude that should be toward the clients. Because we mentioned so many times, the client is looking. Okay. And the second question is, we're Albanian bank, so our interviews are, till now we didn't have tests, but English is one of the criteria that it's not mandatory, but it's good to have. And as my colleague said, trainings, wherever you go, they're provided in English, and English is a necessary language to know.
Hannah Jamoy Jr. A few months ago, BKT, I think, don't quote me, sent an email for job vacancies regarding cashier positions and credit analysts. I don't remember exactly, but and one of the requirements was a GPA of 3.5, which I personally thought was ridiculous because for those positions, I don't even believe to need an education because it's basically a job you learn. How much education do you need to be a cashier? I think you should adjust your expectation out of the students because AUK in its own is one of the best universities, as you've all explained so far. But with those criteria, you guys are just alienating and separating people into categories of GPA and other things I'm not going to mention. So I think I've written an email of complaint. It was terrible. It was long. I'm sure you got it. Basically, saying not nice things to people whoever had that requirement, and you should really adjust it. Thank you.
Okay. When you have a pool of large candidates, you must have a criteria to lower that pool. And I support you. We shouldn't set a GPA, but we needed like only 10 students to take in the interview. And the position of retail analyst, as you said, because you don't know what they do, and it's very important at our bank. It's like a risk position. You have to evaluate all the credit applications that come from the branches, and you have to present this to the managing director. And for this, it's very important the GPA, because you don't have a previous working experience, and we need to get a basis to evaluate you on something. This
GPA of 3.4 would not be applied to that.
most of your students, most of you, I believe you have a good GPA. Okay. I want to encourage you to send application. The GPA is not such important. We send because of the pool, as I said. If there are 100 students interested, we cannot interview you, and we have to set a criteria for something. If you had like 3 or 4 internships, that would increase your possibility to enter in the interview. That is one of the criteria. You can, no problem, you can apply. And for lower position, no, GPA, it wasn't.
No, but the thing was I wasn't applying. It was just
I'm talking in general, okay? Not for you.
You had the question also, right? You there? Okay.
Arman Halizai, Junior, concentrations, media and management. Okay, so my question is related to your vacancies. Because in most of your vacancies, the banks they open, there's like a requirement of 3 or 4 years experience. And we just graduating from UK, and if we want to apply to your job, then when we see the criteria, we just don't do it. So my question is that one of the main requirements, or I don't know, you just put it there, so.
First of all, of course, we are.
Just for the next questions, Jonathan Pernick, Professor Pernick allowed their student to come here, but they are here only till 4. So let's make a compromise. First questions will come from Professor Pernick's students. A second compromise, only those that have economics as
Designate, where is my class?
Let's cancel the class, Professor.
No professor. For mom.
We have a quiz.
Friday lessons. Okay, good.
Professor, if I can just add something. Because of the time, we were planning to come to AUK with some heads of departments who are interested in, specifically in AUK students, in order to discuss in details the positions, because of, as I can see, we are different levels of students. I will inform previously Professor Bislimi, and of course inform you through emails. The people who are interested for these departments that I'm referring to, of course, I would really like to have you all and discuss with some heads